So getting into it, here we are. I'm Felix Black. Welcome back to the next episode of The Quarter Century Soldier. We are in the year 2005. Just to catch you up on what's been happening. I'm coming off of 2004. It was an interesting year. Probably it was not one of my best years. One of my two worst years of service. But 2005 saw me in Colombia, so we're going to start there. 2004, towards the end, graduated from phase 1 of medical laboratory training. I was in Fort Sam Houston, Texas, and now I'm going to Columbia, South Carolina, which is home. Okay, so 2005 sees me arriving back already in Columbia, South Carolina. Like I said before, Dad was prior military, Army, and he retired the year that I joined in 2000. So now we made the agreement for me to come back home for phase 2. So what it is, phase 2 of medical laboratory training is clinicals. So you're going to go through clinicals. We have those sections in the laboratory, like I said, chemistry, hematology, microbiology, phlebotomy, drawing blood. And now we've learned the classroom portion and we start to apply it. So this is the clinicals. So we're in the hospital, we're drawing blood, we're running tests under the close supervision of those trained medical technologists who are there. So we run the tests, they review our results, they review our techniques, they sign us off saying that we're proficient. And that's how you end up graduating the school. I will say 2005 was really necessary for me. Like I said, the end of 2004, I needed a little bit of stability. I can admit that. I was just making really bad decisions in 2004, and I think I strayed a little bit too far away from who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And so coming back home and being able to have my parents there, mom, stepmom and father there was very helpful, right? Very helpful. And it balanced things out. So at this time, my father is chill now. He's more relaxed. He's not the tyrant that he was before. And, I attribute that to he's now seeing that I'm self-sufficient. I got my own everything. Got my own car, was living off base in Texas. So I had my own place. He sees that I'm able to provide for myself, which is what he wanted all along. He just had a different way of going about it. And so coming back home was a lot easier, right? Fort Jackson, South Carolina, Moncrief Army Medical Center. It was a lot. It was stability. I was able to go to work every day, go do some physical training, go do the clinicals, and then, come back home. I didn't have to worry about any bills, though I did, help pay for stuff in the house. I'm just like that, right? So I'm there, like I was saying before, I'm an extra person. So I'm adding expenses, whether it be lights, whether it be water, whether it be food. So, I did contribute money for the time that I was there, and I had no beef about that. He never asked for that. That's just how I like to carry it, just because I know I appreciate what he's doing for me, even though I'm his son. It's just I'm more mature about it now. I don't like to just, I don't want to say mooch, but I don't like to just go somewhere and take. So I am helping out with the household type stuff. 2005 sees me moving again, another duty station. I end up going up to Fort Meade, Maryland, the DMV, District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia, like that little tri area. 2005 sees me go there. So I'm on my way to graduating phase 2. And like I told you guys in the other videos, I had to call my branch. Again, branch is someone It was a person just sitting at a desk. Some days they have good days. Some days they have bad days. So you never know when you call up there how that person's feeling. It was a guy. It was a guy. So he's an older guy in his 50s. So naturally, he responds better with females, right? With women. When I initially called to say, hey, I'm almost graduating. What do you have available for me? He was telling me like Fort Hood or something like that. Telling me one of the big bases. And I was like, I don't want to do that, bro. I don't want to go there. So he didn't slot me there. That was just a conversation that we had. So again, one of my friends, the friend that I was really cool with while we were in school in Texas, the one that hooked me up with the instructor, she ended up calling on my behalf. She called and she and him had a rapport. This is me in my pre-rapport days. I wasn't into building rapport with people. That was a shortcoming of mine. Again, I didn't think it was really necessary, but it was. Also didn't hurt that she was a woman. And, you know, they just have that different type of charm. So she called on my behalf because she was going to Walter Reed Army Institute of Research. Rare. We'll get to that a little bit later too. So she was going there. That's more of a research facility. And she was able to get him to give me Fort Meade. It wasn't the greatest place, but it was way better than where he wanted to send me. So I get to go to Fort Meade. So now I'm moving all of my stuff up to Maryland. I'm getting my own place in Laurel, Maryland, right outside of the base. I think my commute was like 10 minutes, like legit 10 minutes, if that. And so I ended up moving up there, right? So it was my first time going up to the DC area, living in that area in Maryland, and working at Kimbrough. Kimbrough is an ambulatory care center. So they do same day surgery. They don't do like overnight surgery. So it's almost like the 24-hour emergency room. Just a little bit more that they do there because they do same day surgery. A same day surgery is basically you come in, you have the surgery, and you're able to leave that day. I don't think they did any overnights. And if they did an overnight, it was like one day. Because we had Walter Reed, the really big medical center, like in DC. I won't say right down the street, but close enough. So it was an ambulatory care center. I started doing the job of the medical laboratory, and immediately I didn't like it. I'm not a fan. I'll be honest with you. The civilians there were, again, they had been there for years. And so the civilians believe that they have a power over you. Like they're military. It's civilians in one pot, military in another pot. Civilians are there for the continuity. They don't have to go to training. They don't have to go do a PT test, right? They don't have to go to leadership training. They may go to training for like lab stuff, but the lab pays for that. So most of the time they're there, not 24/7, but just every day, right? Every work day. They're the primary. And if one of the civilians wants to call out, or, you know, their section may be swamped a little bit more than another, because chemistry is always a really busy section, then we're the augmentee. We augment their section. We help them out. So they take that as like we're their assistant. We tell them what to do. I mean, they tell us what to do. And that's not the dynamic. That's not the way that it works. Because we have leadership. So we have a senior enlisted that is over us. And then we have a director. We have a lab director, which is over everybody. So the civilians and us. And that person is military. And so the lab director was actually one of my old instructors, not the one I was talking to, but another one. And we just didn't get along. I didn't like it. They had really bad attitudes. And I think my nonchalant attitude rubs a lot of people the wrong way because I'm not, oh, rah, 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 this is boom, bah, let's go. I'm more just like, okay, well, I'm doing it. I'm getting it done. I make working hard look like I'm not working at all because I don't have a panic button, right? If it's not life, limb, or eyesight, I'm not panicking, right? That's just how I'm built. I'm just not panicking. And even if it is, there's controlled panic. There's controlled emergency, all right? Like there's an emergency, we need to help someone. Like we don't need a whole bunch of yelling and screaming and dishing out orders, because people sometimes add more chaos to the scene than is necessary. I don't know why people just never accepted that about me. I'm really low key. I'm really chill. And I've always been that way and I'm going to continue to be that way. Like nobody's going to be able to change that. But yet they continue to try, or they just get mad at me because they think I have an attitude. No, I don't have, I'm good. I'm cool. But now that you have an attitude with me, I have an attitude. And so now because I have an attitude, that's what you're focused on. But I'm like, nah, I was cool. You can't bothering me. So I don't know. I'm like, I don't like, what do you want from me? So yeah, it was just like, I didn't get along with the civilians. I kind of just tried to stay in my own little area and do my job. But again, we're augmentees to them. So we're generalists. So we're assigned different sections every day. The civilian works that section, chemistry. He works it every single day, right? I may work chemistry today and micro tomorrow, but microbiology has its own civilian. He works that every single day. So being a generalist was cool, but it was just, I didn't like their attitudes, and it was a lot of friction, right? I was having a lot of friction, and it was just harder than it had to be. It wasn't a bad time because again, I was just working those days, and then being in the DMV and being younger, I'm like 24 at this time. Being younger was great because the DMV has so much action, so much motion, so many things going on that I was able to, have fun outside of work. And plus, the friend that I met in school, she and her family were there in that area too. So, I would hang out with them as well. But yeah, I just wasn't getting along with them. I know why. It was a clash of attitudes. People who are really rah-rah sis boom bah don't rock with me. They're not into how I am as a person. And I just don't understand, like, not everyone has to be that way. Some of us are really controlled and stoic. That doesn't mean we don't care. That doesn't mean that we wouldn't do what we needed to do to help a person out if they needed assistance. That's just meaning we're not the first one rushing in because we know that there's going to be people who want to do that, who are just built to do that. Yeah, I didn't get no in any formal trouble or anything like that. It was just, it was just a difference of opinion too much. And at the end of the day, you, me, I'm still low man I'm not low man on the totem pole, but I'm low on the totem pole. So I don't have enough say so. So I have to accept that. And that's the shit that I don't like. Like, I don't like the fact that I have to just accept that because I'm newer. I'm just starting out. Like, this is my first time working in the lab. I don't care about none of that. Right? That's still not a license to treat people a certain way. And that's one thing that I never agreed with and never will agree with. I believe in paying your dues. Yes. When you're the new guy, new girl, you have to pay your dues. You have to show us that you belong here, that you can contribute. But that doesn't mean you have to treat that person like trash. You can challenge them, or you can just let them do their thing and just see how they are as a person. But there, I just felt like they were poking the bear and they were trying to get a rise out of me, but they never did. Because again, I was hip to that. I was hip to like what's going on, and I just never let it get to me. But 2005, I mean, was just that. It was just moving, and it was just getting used to working in the lab, drawing people's blood, working with patients, and realizing when people come into the hospital, like they're coming there because they don't feel well, because they're sick. So you don't see the best in people. When a person is sick, or when a person is accompanying, I can't even say that word, accompanying, when they're an escort for someone else, they're upset that the person they're escorting is sick. The sick person doesn't feel good. They're upset that they're sick. They don't like the doctor that gave them the diagnosis, or the doctor that's treating them. And so that comes across in a lot of different ways. Is everyone like that? No, there's some really nice people that come through, but there's some really not mean, but just there's some really stubborn. There's some really hard-headed people that come through. One of the good things about working in the lab, when you don't have to work up front in the phlebotomy room, is that you still get to help people medically, but you don't have to be hands-on with them. And that's most of us laboratory scientists, most of us love that part. We love helping people and we want to help people, but we know a sick person is probably one of the most annoying people to help and one of the most hard to work with. I don't want to say they're ungrateful, because they may be ungrateful in the moment, but after they get past whatever it is bothering them, they are usually okay. And we understand if you're sick, you're not feeling good. We understand that. We understand that. It's more or less for the people who are sick. Just understand we're trying to help you. And so that help doesn't always come with, here, take this pill and you're going to be okay tomorrow. Sometimes it's, hey, we need to draw blood. Oh, we need to get more. We need urine. We need stool. We need whatever. Like whatever we need to get from you to help you feel better, to get the doctor to diagnose you, is what we're going to do. Like that's our job. And so you should be willing to work with us on that. And that's all I'm trying to say, is you should be willing to work with us, because we're not trying to make your life any more uncomfortable than you already are. And so I really had to get used to that. Starting to work more with kid gloves and being sympathetic to people's needs and stuff like that. So that was, emotional assistance for me. I ended up going to like a human relations master facilitators course, which was really good. It's just learning how to keep discussion going. So that's why I say right now I'm a master facilitator, because I necessarily don't talk a lot personally, but I am able to keep conversations kind of streaming. I ask the questions. It's just sometimes people close the conversation. All a facilitator does is just keep everyone engaged, because when you're having group conversations, there's always a couple people that's going to be more reserved. You're going to get a couple people that love to talk and just they want to give their opinion, give, right? And so there's a lot of people that's just, they're going to not shut down, but shut down a little bit. And your job is to recognize the body language of everyone and be like, okay, Felix, I see you. I see your body language with that, what he was saying. What do you think about that? Like, what's your thoughts on what they just said? And so you're giving people the chance to come back. And this is what talk show hosts do. This is what a lot of anyone, I don't want to say podcasters, but people that have kind of group discussions. I don't want to even say it's not a mediator, because it's not an argument happening, or it's not a debate happening. It's just a discussion. And so what you want to do is you want to keep dialogue going. You want to start to pull, oh, okay, that person is thinking something totally different. That person isn't feeling this conversation. So let's get their point of view. Let's make sure everybody sitting here has a chance to speak. And so that's what the course was about. It was really good. And it helps me in this space. So you'll hear me use those terms now that you've heard that. Some of the things that I've said before, because I've said I'm a great facilitator, or some of the questions I asked to bring people back in, like it'll make sense now, and you can be able to recognize that when it happens. But yeah, that was a very good skill. Just because you have a lot of people that are not great at communicating, or they don't like to do it. You have to pull that information out of them. And that goes back to, me wanting to venture into the therapy world, because I think I'm able to draw certain things out of people. I listen to what people say, and this course really helped me with that. I listen a lot to what people say because words matter. And then when you call people on what they said, like the exact words were X, Y, Z, they're like, no, I didn't mean it like that. No, but that's what you said. So all I can go on is what you said. It's important that you don't leave too much up to interpretation unless that's your goal. You want people to kind of know what it is. And usually that's how you get into trouble with the communication, is you say something and someone may interpret it a different type of way. And it's on you as the messenger to make sure your message gets across the way you intend it to. I never get upset about someone who interprets what I say the wrong way. Now, what I do, and I don't get upset, but if a person is always negative, like I don't like negativity. You have two options. You can be positive, you can take the silver lining, or you can be negative. And so if a person is constantly going with the negative, like that's something that I don't like. But if someone interprets something that I said the wrong way, that's okay. That's fine, because I didn't send it the right way. As long as you give me a chance to speak on it. That's all. That's all I'm asking. Just share what your thoughts was about what I said and give me a chance to speak on it, because sometimes I get a stream of consciousness and I just send it. And I may not know how it's coming off. Again, I don't hear anything in my delivery. I don't think my delivery is any different than anyone else's, but I constantly hear it's not what I said, it's how I said it. And I'm like, bro, I'm just talking. Father, forgive me for my brash delivery. But I don't feel that it's brash. But I can't argue with that, because multiple people who don't know each other, right? And this is years apart, days apart, months apart, have all said the same thing. So obviously it's true. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be self-aware. So, taking these kind of courses is what helps me with emotional intelligence and just learning body language and paying attention to people. If y'all remember the show The Mentalist, he was a person that kind of watched body language and watched what you said and kind of got a story just from that. And, I kind of feel I'm like that, or I'm working to be like that. Like I'm an analytical person, so I analyze a lot. But I mean, I guess that's pretty much it for 2025. I'm gonna be honest with you. It wasn't really much happening. It was more cerebral things happening and just not getting along with the members of the laboratory. I will say, I recognize when I went back later to be an instructor, the laboratory scientists are usually introverts. If you watch Big Bang Theory, that is absolutely true. How like science nerds are introverted. They're not socially, adept, or they're not socially flexible. They're really shy. They don't really, communicate directly. And so I am I'm a cool nerd. Like I think I'm smart, but I'm also able to, communicate and I'm very persuasive and I'm a little social. I'm not a social butterfly, but I'm social. I can talk in different groups of people. And I think that's what always differentiated me is that I'm not the typical shy Steve Urkel type nerd. I'm not like that. I think people are pleasantly surprised when they have different types of conversations with me, and I have that knowledge. Just like being bilingual, I think that that's one of the coolest things ever. Um, and I think I know enough Spanish. I don't know a lot. I know enough to get around, but I'm still always looking to learn more. I don't always want it to be a class. At the end of the day, I'm not going to sound like someone who was born in Latin America. Not a shot. But as long as you can understand me, I'm okay. I'm going to have an accent the way that anyone speaking English who's Hispanic has an accent. As long as I can understand you, that's good. That's cool. So, yeah, it was just learning the laboratory scientist people. Because again, when we go through school, these are all new heads. So it's not the people who have been in the field for years. So that was my first introduction to, okay, these are the people who have been in this field for years, and this is how they act. And that was something to get used to. I had to get used to. Or just find others that were more on the I can do both side. I can be nerdy and I can talk about astronomy and chemistry. And I can also talk about, the Kendrick Lamar performance at the Super Bowl or in sports and play sports and stuff like that. So, but that's been 2005 in the Quarter Century Soldier. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the series. I'm enjoying sharing everything with you. 2006, we start to get a little bit more interesting in 2006 because I actually deploy to Baghdad in 2006. So this has been episode, I don't know, but we're in 2000, we're in 2005, 2006 coming up tomorrow. See y'all in the next one.